Domestic seasons around the UK and around Europe are edging ever closer, boys and girls, including down at League One. And today, that's where we're going. We're exploring brand new territory, folks. League One, Match 1, coming at ya. So today we're going down to League One, boys and girls. Match day number 1, day 1, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, smash your subscribe button, keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, League One related, world football related. We've got it all here under one rooski. That's right, folks. We've never been down this road before, but we're going to enjoy it every step of the way. We're going to have each and every match day on the channel, so make sure you stick around for that bad boy. And again, before we jump in the deep end, I want a big shout out to the Patreons. That's right, supporting the channel. You know who you are, the VIP exclusive gang. So a big kudos to those guys. If you guys are interested in supporting the gang just like them and join the brother from another mother family, there is a link down below, patreon.com/Roverseas. So let's get into it. We've got a lot to talk about. It is League One, match day number 1, 2020-2021. That's right. So let's just remind ourselves of who is in this division these days. Of course, some juggernauts went down last time around. But Accrington Stanley sit top of the table as it stands. But again, this is all a bit mumbo-jumboed up at the minute. But anyway, let's have a look at it, shall we? Hang on a minute. Oh, that's just me. Peterborough are in there. Crewe, Charlton are back. Doncaster, Milton, Keynes, Dons, Fleetwood Town, Burton, Gillingham, Hull are in there. Lincoln City, Oxford, Northampton Town, AFC Wimbledon, Plymouth, Blackpool, Portsmouth, Sheffield, Shrewsbury Town, Sunderland, Bristol Rovers, Swindon, Rochdale, Ipswich, and of course Wigan, who've actually had a nightmare few months. I've seen them pretty much had their heart and soul ripped out of them, but they're here in League One. The last time they were here, they came out on top. So remember that, boys and girls. Remember that. So let's get into it then. Now, before we jump into the predictions and all that kind of jazz, I want to remind you that we have actually got a League One prediction league, boys and girls. Prediction league. That's right. Basically, you've got to come out each and every match day, get your predictions in the old comment section. We'll do the mathematics, and then you come out on top at the end of it. And hopefully, you'll become kingpin of League One behind this guy, of course, because I'm going to win. I'm going to win the prediction league. Of course I am. There's no even need to take part because I am the man. That's right. I am the prediction king. But if you do come out on top and victorious at the end of the season, whether it is in May or if they abruptly end it in January, who knows? I'll send you a t-shirt with possibly that guy, this emoji out there with the League One, something on there that says you are the Prediction King champion. So that is it. Free to enter. Just make sure you come back each and every week and get your predictions in nice and early, boys. So let's get into it and have a little look at, of course, the matches. So it all kicks off on the 12th of September. Very busy week this week. And I want a bit of a disclaimer. Now, usually we're not going to have this backdrop here. This is last year's backdrop, but we're gonna revamp it. Just ran out of time, and also I'm recording this ahead of schedule on the 2nd of September, nice and early, because I'm not going to be available at the start of the week for this bad boy. So let's get into it then and have a little look, shall we? We're going to kick it all off with Accrington Stanley taking on Peterborough. Now, these two sides have played each other just 8 times, 2 wins for Accrington Stanley and 6 victories for Peterborough. Of course, Peterborough just missing out last time around. The last 6 though between these two sides, 1 win for Accrington Stanley, 5 wins for Peterborough, and the last time they played each other in Accrington was a 2-0 win for Posh. That's right, that was around about January 2020. Sammy Simadics on the score sheet for Peterborough, and Joe Ward as well. Heading into this, Accrington Stanley have actually conceded at least 2 goals in their 6 of the last 7 home matches as well. They ended the campaign with 3 defeats out of the past 4. Meanwhile, Peterborough actually ended up the campaign with a couple of decent results, a draw against Burton, and of course Peterborough beating Pompey as well. Transfer wise, Accrington Stanley have brought in a bunch of players. Ryan Cassidy from Watford on loan, Tom Allen as well from Newcastle on loan, and Tom Scully from Norwich on loan. They've also released a couple of players as well. Meanwhile, the opposition, of course, Peterborough selling Ivan Toney. I believe he's off to Brentford. That's right, big money, around about 10 million, something like that. Has that been confirmed? It has been confirmed. George Cooper's also gone to Plymouth as well. Meanwhile, they brought in Ronnie Edwardson, Barnett, Ethan Hamilton from Manchester United, Reece Brown from Huddersfield as well, amongst others. Johnson Clark Harris has also been brought in. The bookmakers' odds on this bad boy, 5-2 for Accrington Stanley, 30-5 is your draw. Even Stevens is your win for Peterborough. Peterborough are going to be one of the big boys. They got money in the bank, and I do expect them to open up the count with a 2-1 win over Accrington Stanley. Next up, we have Crewe Alexandra, of course, back in the division for the first time in a few years, taking on Charlton. Now, these two sides played each each other just 4 times, according to my knowledge. It's been 4 wins out of 4 for Charlton. The last time they played each other was back in 2000. Goodness gracious me. It was a 1-0 win for Charlton. I don't even have the scorer. That's how long ago. And the last time they played in Crewe was a 2-0 win for Charlton as well. Crewe ended the campaign with an impressive 3-game run, 2 draws and a win, ending the season against Stevenage when it was abruptly ended back in March. Meanwhile, Charlton, of course, went down painfully, losing their last game against Leeds 4-0 and also picking up a draw against 2-2 against Wigan. The bookmakers' odds will probably go with Crewe on Charlton on this one, 7-4 for Crewe, 5-2 is your away win, 7-5 for Charlton. They just edge it. What do we have on signings? I think Charlton, they've lost, of course, Lyle Taylor's gone. Also lost Chris Solly, Tom Mohamed, and Naby Sarr as well has been released. Could be on his way to Rovers. They brought also lost Tom Lockyer, has gone to Luton on loan as well. Alex Gibley's coming from MK Dons and Connor Washington from Hearts. Meanwhile, Crewe, they've not really. They brought in a few players. Donovan Daniels from Luton, Ofande Sanzala from Accrington as well. They've also lost James Jones, who's gone to Lincoln as well. Nicky Hunt has been released. Sean Miller and some other boys. What have I gone with this one? I've gone with Charlton, I'm sure. 2-0 win away from home for Charlton to open up their campaign and get themselves moving in the right direction. Next up, we have Doncaster Rovers, of course. They were in action last week or not too long ago against Blackburn Rovers, of course, in the Cup. They're going to be taking on MK Dons. Now, these two sides have played each other 12 times, 6 victories for Doncaster, 2 wins for Milton Keynes, and 4 draws. The last 6, though, sees 3 wins for Doncaster, 1 win for MK Dons, and 2 draws. They played in MK, Milton Keynes, back in March prior to lockdown. Was a 1-0 win for Doncaster. Jacob Ramsey on the score sheet for Doncaster. Last time played in Doncaster was a 1-1 draw as well. You got to go all the way back to 2015 for MK Dons. Last victory over Doncaster was a 3-0 win over at the Stadium MK. MK Dons have also failed to win their last 14 away matches in the division as they edge closer for this bad boy. Let me take a closer look at the odds on this bad boy. 11-10 for Doncaster, 12-5 is your draw, 12-5 is also your away win. Doncaster bringing in the likes of Taylor Richards from Brighton, Cameron John from Wolves as well. They've also lost Ian Lawler, has gone out on loan. Kieran Sadler's been released. Devante Cole, Alex Baptiste and Alex Kawamia has also been binned off for Doncaster. Meanwhile, MK Dons have brought in some good players. Carlton Morris is coming from Norwich. Richard Keogh has been brought in on a free transfer. They've also lost the likes of Alex Gibley to Charlton. Jordan Brewy's gone to Mansfield. Conor McGandle's gone to Lincoln as well. So yeah. And also released the likes of Ben Reeves, Joe Mason, Stuart Moore, amongst others. So yeah, this one's a tough one. I do like Doncaster and I do expect them to open up with a 3-1 win. I think they've got good management, good team, and of course they gave Rovers a bit of a headache just the other week. So I do expect them to be very, very competitive. But Keogh is a monstrous pickup for MK Dons. Next up we have Fleetwood Town taking on Burton Albion. Of course, Joey Barton's boys looking to get themselves back into contention. Of course, very so close to a strong finish last season. Anyway, they take on Burton. They've played each other 13 times, 7 victories for Fleetwood, 5 victories for Burton, and 1 draw. The last 6 sees 4 wins for Fleetwood, 2 wins for Burton. But however, the last time they played each other was back in January. It was a 1-0 win for Burton. Goodness gracious me. In Burton, Ryan Edwards was the scorer on the 89th minute. The last time they played in Fleetwood, there was a 4-1 win for Fleetwood. Paddy Banner with a hat-trick, Ched Evans as well on the score sheet. Oliver Sarkic, the one and only goal for Burton. Heading into this, Fleetwood actually undefeated in 13 of the last 14 matches in League One. Burton have actually conceded at least 2 goals in the last 8 away matches as well. Bookmakers on this bad boy, what you got for me, son? What you got for me on this one? Even Stevens of Fleetwood, 12-5 is your draw, 11-4 is your away win. Fleetwood, what have they been doing in the old transfer shenanigans this summer? Well, I'll tell you what about Burton. Burton have actually brought in Stephen Lawless from Livingston. They brought Neil Ardley as well from Lincoln as well. Kane Hemmings from Dundee. And Luke Varney's been brought in from Cheltenham. He's made a step up. Meanwhile, players gone out. Oliver Sarkic gone to Blackpool. They've also lost Stephen Bywater, who's an old keeper. Anyway, what about Fleetwood? What have they done this summer? They brought in the likes of Callum Camps from Rochdale. Big pickup there. Jordan Rosso as well from Rangers. Another good signing. Joel Coleman as well from Huddersfield as well. Meanwhile, players going out. Ash Hunter gone to Salford. Lewis Cole's gone to Hull. They also released Matt Gilks, Carl Dempsey, Gerard Garner, Dean Marnie's gone out from Fleetwood Town as well. So yeah, difficult one this one, but I do like Fleetwood Town and I like to see them towards the top end of the table these days. Of course, with Barton, he's always a character, and I do expect him to be competitive. Next up, we have Gillingham up against Hull City. Now, get this: these two sides have never played each other ever in the course of time. So my knowledge on this one's going to be a bit ropey. Of course, Hull had a nightmare into the season. Basically, from January onwards, they actually just failed to show up, losing their heart heart and soul of the club, but can they bounce back at the first attempt? Gillingham actually undefeated in 16 of the last 17 matches in League One, so they did end the season strongly, whereas Hull have actually had a nightmare into the season, losing to Cardiff, Luton, Wigan, and Millwall. Also lost to Wigan 8-0. Oh my goodness gracious me. Meanwhile, Gillingham ended the season with just one win in the past 4, though, and that was against Southend away from home. Bookmakers odds on this one: 7-4 for Gillingham, 12-5 is draw, 29-20 for Hull. What's been going on in the transfer activity for there? Hull City bringing in the likes of Lewis Cole from Fleetwood, Joel Manuel from Bolton, Richie Smallwood, big immense pick up there from Royal Rovers, of course, Gary Doherty from Rangers as well. They've released Kevin Stewart, he's gone, Robbie McKenzie has gone as well, Will Mannion has also left. Meanwhile, Gillingham, they brought in Ryan Jackson from Colchester, Zach Medley from Arsenal, Jacob Mellis from Bolton, Kyle Dempsey from Fleetwood, Robbie McKenzie from Hull, so that's interesting, and Christian Magoma from Accrington, wherever that is. They've also lost Lee Hodgson to Hamilton, Max Evan has gone to Bristol Rovers, and Mikael Mandron's gone to Crewe. They've also lost Ben Pringle and Mark Bryn, amongst others, in the free transfer market. Meanwhile, I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. I'm not too sure what to expect from Hull these days. They've kept McCann in charge. Is that the right thing? We'll have to wait and see. An opening day point, I think Gillingham will be happier than that. In fact, probably Hull will be happier with that point than Gillingham, considering the way they ended last season. Next up, we have Lincoln City. They are going to be taking on Oxford United. Of course, Oxford, one of the favourites I expect to go up. Unfortunately, they lost in the playoffs last time around. These two sides played each other 14 times, 6 victories for Lincoln, 7 victories for Oxford, and 1 draw. The record recently, last 6 sees 3 wins for Lincoln, 3 wins for Oxford, and 0 draws. They played each other in Oxford roundabout, as well as actually on Boxing Day just last year. 1-0 winners for Oxford. Shannon Baptiste on the score sheet. Last time played in Lincoln was a 6-0 win for Oxford. Goodness gracious me, that was around about this time last year as well. Tariq Fonsu Enri with that hat-trick, James Mackey, James Henry, and Matt T. Taylor on the score sheet for Oxford. And a very, very impressive display there. Heading into this, the bookmakers odds will probably go with Oxford on this one. 70-10 for Lincoln, 12-5 is draw, 6-4 for Oxford. What do we have transfer-wise? Lincoln bringing in James Jones from Crewe, Ethan Ross from Colchester, TJ Anyoma from Tottenham, Adam Jackson from Hibs, Joe Walsh as well. Losing Jack Payne's gone to Swindon, Ben Coke's gone to Stevenage, and they've also lost Charlie Andrew, Neil Eardley, Lee Frecklington, James Shackle, Grant Smith, Josh Vickers, amongst others as well. Whereas Oxford, what have they done so far this season? They brought in the likes of Joel Cooper from Linfield, Sean Clare from Hearts, Liam Kelly, that's a great pick up there from Feyenoord. James Mackey's packed it in. Rob Dickey's gone to QPR for a bit of money as well. So yeah, Oxford, I like them very, very much, and I do expect them to get an opening day victory, 2-0 win away from home to get them season up and running. Next up we have Northampton Town. They could be going down, but they could go up as well. Up against AFC Wimbledon. They play each other 14 times, 7 victories for Northampton, 6 draws, and 1 win for Wimbledon. The last 6, though, sees 2 wins for Northampton, 1 win for Wimbledon, and 3 draws. The last time they played each other was in League One, around about February 2018. Northampton winners in the end. Matt Grimes on the score sheet, Matt Crooks, Daniel Powell as well for Northampton. Adesha Oshayala on the score sheet for Wimbledon. The last time they played at Northampton was a 1-0 win for Wimbledon. Goodness gracious me. Harry Forrester on the one and only goal back in 2017. Heading into this, the bookmakers will probably go with Northampton on this one. 11-10 for Northampton, 12-5 is your draw, 12-5 is also your away win. What do we have on transfer activity for Northampton? They've lost their main man, Charlie Good. Vadian Oliver's also gone to Gillingham. They brought in the likes of Christian Melusu from Oldham, Jonathan Mitchell on loan from Derby, Syrian Bolgers from Lincoln, Luka Rakic from Brentford, and Joe Nuttall from Blackpool, ex-Rover as well. Meanwhile, AFC Wimbledon, did they bring up a good signing? Let's have a quick look. They brought in Che Alexander from Barnet, Alex Woodward from Peterborough, Jacko Oscarman from Brentford, Ryan Longman from Brighton as well, amongst others. And they've not sold anybody, but they've released Matt Pinnock, Anthony Woodworth, Ruben Collins, Tommy Wood, Dylan Connolly, Osama Ashley, amongst others. Northampton, going to give them the squeaky bum victory here. Joe Nuttall with a lastminute.com winner to give them the edge. Plymouth Argyle are back, the Green Army, taking on the Tangerine Army. This one's a nice little fruity contest. Anyway, these two sides have played each other 34 times, 11 victories for Plymouth, 15 victories for Blackpool, and 8 draws. I do like Blackpool, especially on a Friday night, on the old amusements, 2-penny push. But they're going down south coast here, up against Plymouth anyway. The last 6, 1 win victory for Plymouth, 3 victories for Blackpool, and 2 draws. They played each other last back in 2019 in March. It was a 2-2 draw over in Blackpool. Mark Bowler, Curtis Tilt on the score sheet for Blackpool. Plymouth scores coming from Freddie Lapado and Ryan Edwards. Meanwhile, last time played at Plymouth was a 1-0 win for Blackpool back in 2018. Mark Cullen on the score sheet with a couple of red cards, Bowler and Daniels for Blackpool. Heading into this, Blackpool actually failed to win the last 13 away matches in League One, and they ended up their campaign with a draw against Fleetwood and a defeat of Tranmere. Meanwhile, Plymouth entered the campaign with 2 wins all the way back in March. Meanwhile, the bookmakers on this one, we find it difficult. 6-4 for Plymouth, 12-5 is draw, 70-10 for Blackpool. It's difficult to call this one. Busy, of course. Blackpool under the managerialship of Neil Critchley, I think, ex-Liverpool man. CJ Hamilton's coming from Mansfield. That's a good signing right there. Jordan Williams coming from Rochdale. Keshi Adams from Swindon. Who else they brought in? Jerry Yates from Rotherham. They lost Ryan Hardy to Plymouth. Tommy Weston's gone to Rangers. Ryan Edwards has gone to Dundee United. Nathan Delfonso's gone to Bolton. Joe Nuttall, of course, has gone on loan to Northampton. They've also lost the likes of Sean Scannell. Jay Spearing, captain, has left. Going to go with a 0-0 draw. I can't separate the two sides. Can you guys be sure to get your predictions in nice and early down in the comments section. Next up, we have Pompey taking on Shrewsbury. Let's have a closer look at these bad boys then, shall we? Portsmouth, where are you? Where are you, son? Anyway, these two sides played each other 21 times. 10 victories for Portsmouth, 8 victories for Shrewsbury, and 3 draws. They played each other the last 6 sees 2 wins for Portsmouth, 3 wins for Shrewsbury, and 1 draw. The last time they played at Fratton Park was a 2-0 win back in February prior to the old lockdown. Ellis Hallison and John Marquise on the score sheet for Pompey. Last time they played at Shrewsbury was a 1-0 win for Shrewsbury. Ryan Gill's score sheet back in August 2019. Portsmouth actually undefeated in their last 19 matches at home, and they're fancying the chance to open up the count against Shrewsbury these days. Anyway, the bookmakers' odds on this one. 6-5 on Portsmouth, red hot favourites. 12-5 is your draw. 7-2 is your away win. Let's have a look at what these guys have been doing on the old transfer market. All the way down here. Pompey, what have you done? Well, you brought in the likes of Sean Ragger from Norwich, good signing. Cameron Ping as well from Bristol City. They've lost Luke McGee and Brandon Hunstrup. Also, Brad Pittman's gone. Matt Casey as well. Ollie Hopkins has gone as well. Shrewsbury on the flip side, they brought in Scott High from Huddersfield as well as Ry Keel Pike, both from Huddersfield. Josh Daniels from Glenarvan and Molin Fossey from Fulham. They've also lost Josh Lawrence to Reading and Joe Murphy to Tranmere. They've also lost Roman Vincelot, Kyle Taylor and Limbamba Mwande. Pompey, I fancy them quite strongly on this one. 3-0 win. Again, they've got the main man still in charge, pulling the strings, and I do expect them to be in the discussion for promotion at the end of the season. Next up, we have Sunderland, of course. They're still in here, but I think this could be the year they get it right. Taking on Bristol Rovers these days. They played each other 29 times, 12 victories for Sunderland, 10 victories for Bristol Rovers, and 7 draws. The last 6 sees 5 wins for Sunderland, 1 win for Bristol Rovers, and that win was last around in Bristol. It was back in March prior to lockdown. Johnson, Clark, Harris with both goals as Sunderland suffered a defeat. However, before that was 5 games winning run for Sunderland, which has come to an end. Sunderland are actually undefeated in the last 10 matches at home, whereas Bristol Rovers have actually failed to win the last 8 matches away from home. The bookmakers' odds on this bad boy taking place on Saturday the 12th of September. 11-10 for Sunderland, red hot favourites. 5-2 is your draw. 3-1 is your away win. Sunderland, transfer-wise, they could be bringing in Danny Graham. I don't know yet, but they actually brought in Aidan O'Brien from Millwall. Bailey Wright coming from Bristol City. Morgan Feeney's coming from Everton, and Remy Matthews from Bolton. Ethan Robinson's gone to Blackpool. They've also lost Duncan Watmore, Jack Baldwin, Joel Lynch, Carl Lafferty, and Tommy Smith. Meanwhile, Bristol Rovers, bloody well, they're all the way at the top of the list. They have actually brought in the likes of Josh Grant from Chelsea, Jack Baldwin's come in, of course, from Sunderland, Max Emas from Gillingham, David Tuntumba from Barnet. They've also lost Ollie Clark. Jason Clark-Harris has gone to Peterborough. That's a big signing for Posh. And they've also lost the likes of Ben Morgan, Josh Bailey, and Sam Matthews, amongst others. Difficult one, this one, but I think Sunderland will come out on top quite comfortably with a 2-0 win at the Stadium of Light. Swindon Town are back in this division. They're going to be taking on Rochdale. Now, these two sides have played each other a good 12 times over the course of time. 5 victories for Swindon, 3 for Rochdale, and 4 draws. The last 6 sees 3 wins for Swindon, 2 wins for Rochdale, and 1 draw. The last time they played each other was in Rochdale. It was a 4-0 win for Rochdale back in 2016. Joe Bunny, that's right, the prettiest man on the world. Matthew Lund as well. Steve Davis with a couple of goals as well. The last time they played each other at Swindon was a 3-0 win for Swindon. Daniel Furlong on the score sheet. Nathan Delfonso with a brace, and Joe Bunny as well, getting himself sent off. Rochdale actually failed to win the last 5 matches in League One, and they'll expect to struggle against Swindon, who were free scoring last time around the end of the campaign with 2 wins and a defeat to Forest Green Rovers, then Vegans. Meanwhile, Rochdale ended the campaign with a win against Rotherham last time around before the season got kiboshed. Anyway, heading into this, the bookmakers odds 20-17 on for Swindon, red hot favourites. 13-5 is your draw. 3-1 is your away win, and that will be and that I'm going to go with. In fact, let's have a quick look at the old transfer activity for these guys here, see what they've done. Swindon Town, of course, your big money buys. Well, they lost their main goal scorer last time around, which was Ian Doyle, who's gone to Bolton. He's stuck in the division. They've also brought in Jack Payne from Lincoln, good signing. Matt Smith from Arsenal, Johnny Smith from Bristol City. They also did lose Ian Doyle, and Keshi Anderson's gone to Blackpool. Also, Will Henry and Danny Rose have been released. Meanwhile, their opposition, Rochdale, what have they done so far this season? They've lost the likes of Calvin Camps has gone. Of course, he was linked with Rovers a long time ago. Aaron Wilbraham has gone as well. Ian Henderson. It's the changing of the tide. Alex Newby's brought in from Chorley, and Gavin Bazunga from Manchester City. I'm going to go with Swindon on this one, the 2-1 win in the end to open up their campaign with a fantastic win. And finally, a bit of a tasty one at the end. It will be Ipswich Town taking on Wigan Athletic. I don't have any odds on this one. I don't know why, but anyway, we'll talk about it. These two sides have played each other 15 times, 6 wins for Ipswich, 6 wins for Wigan, and 3 draws. But who the heck's going to play for Wigan? We don't know. Anyway, the last 6 encounters sees 4 wins for Ipswich, 0 wins for Wigan, and 2 draws. The last time they played each other was back in 2019. It was a 1-1 draw. Joe Garner picking up a goal, and so did Will Keynes. That was back in the DW, back in February 2019. Last time they played at Ipswich was in 2018. It was a 1-0 win for Ipswich. The goal scorer on that day was, have a guess, it was Freddie Sears. Heading into this, Ipswich have actually lost their last 4 matches in League One. They've also failed to score in 5 of the last 7 matches as well, and they've also lost with a 1-goal margin in the last 4 matches. Got no odds on this one. Wigan have got no players, but they might still have a decent looking side, depending on what goes on. Depends on what goes on actually with them. They've lost the likes of Callum Lang, he's gone to Motherwell. They've lost Joe Gerhardt's gone to Leeds. Kiefer Moore's gone to Cardiff. Che Dunkley's gone to Sheffield Wednesday. Anthony Robertson's gone to Fulham. Joe Williams gone to Bristol City. David Marshall's gone to Derby. Jamal Lowe's gone to Swansea. Kipray's on the verge of going to West Brom. And they brought in absolutely nobody. Meanwhile, Ipswich, what have they done? They still got Lambert in charge, of course, ex-Rover. They brought in the likes of David Cornell from Northampton, Ollie Hopkins from Portsmouth, Stephen Ward as well from Stoke, Will Keane, Danny Rowe, and Jordan Roberts have gone. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win for Ipswich. They should have enough in the tank to take over the skeleton-rigged Wigan Athletic. That, my friends, is what I think will happen in League One. Day 1, match 1, that kind of stuff. Be sure to get your own predictions in your comment section down below, boys and girls, down below. And that, my friends, and if all these babies were to come in and bang on the nose, this is what the table would look like at the end of match day number 1. Portsmouth will lead the line, Doncaster will be in second, Charlton will be in third, Oxford, Fleetwood, and Sunderland in the top 6. Down the bottom will be Shrewsbury, Wigan, and Bristol Rovers going down and Lincoln. There's four to go down, right? 4 to go down. They will go down as it stands, but of course, we're only at match day number 1, folks. Also, match day number 1 is the prediction league, boys and girls, for League 1, so be sure to get your predictions in nice and early for this one. And of course, bang the subscribe as well to make sure you never miss a beat. You tick that little bell, and of course, give the video some loving. Let's get League One into the old spotlight once again. This is going to be a title division. You got Portsmouth, Peterborough, Sunderland, Ipswich, Charlton, Hull, all these juggernauts, all competing for 3 spots to get back into the second tier of English football. Well, that, my friends, is it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that thumbs up. And if you are new, bang the old subscribe button. And also, if you want to go that extra punch, become a patron of the channel. That's right, a VIP exclusive member of the gang. Check out the description. Links to my other social media platforms are in there: Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and all that stuff. Back for match number 2, of course, very, very soon. And again, between now and then, I don't know if I talked about this at the start. This is not the usual backdrop. It is the usual backdrop, but we've got a new backdrop coming very, very soon. And also, we are recording these ahead of time. On the 2nd of September, well ahead of the game. So new additions could come in, maybe even a change of managerialship, you just don't know. That's all just wanted to put that on the plate. Anyway, hopefully you're looking forward to the brand new season. I am, and I'll see you all on the other side.